1.
I'm YiLin. I'm originally from Singapore, but when I was 12, we moved to Taiwan. From Taiwan, we moved to Hong Kong, and now I'm here in New York.
Why did you and your family move?
So our first move to Taiwan was because my mom got a new job, and she decided that getting out of Singapore and getting out of the local school system was what was best for my brother and I. So one day we were just like, you know what, we're moving, and 3 months later we did.
In each of your moves, how did you feel received by the population in the new country?
So originally, the first move to Taiwan was scary because I went from a local Chinese girls' school to a mixed American, like, lower school. So, like, that was already throwing me off because, like, one, there were boys in my class, which has never happened before, and also the entire culture shock. I went from a super Chinese, like, Asian cultures and Asian values. I went from that immediately into, like, what I saw on TV, which is like the only exposure I've ever had to like American culture. So there were a lot of people that were very like, oh, like you have a different accent, like you speak differently. So people always called me out on my accent, which was the like weirdest thing ever. But the move to Hong Kong was not as bad because like it was kind of, I knew a lot of people there because we all came from the same group of schools. And now in New York, there's a lot of people here that's also from the same league of schools that I went to for high school. So like that's made the move a lot easier.
Can you speak to the difference in your parents' experience versus you and your brother?
So my mom moved for work and my dad came like along, but he was no longer working. So for my mom, like she went from working in English to working in completely like in all Chinese. So that was really difficult for her. Plus like the entire regiment of like, she works in media, so how media is regulated by the government was completely different in Singapore and in Taiwan. But then for me, I went from like super strict to super chill. Like school was like, I had a teacher tell me once that over the weekend I should not be allowed to be given homework, which that's not a thing in Singapore. So for me, like I loved it. I skipped all the major exams that local kids have to go to in Singapore. But for my mom, like the switch was a lot harder, but she definitely preferred her work abroad than she did in Singapore.